everybody, welcome to your Moon in Scorpio reading. This reading is targeted for the dates of January 15th to January 17th, but as you guys know, really it's timeless and signless, it's energy, so if you're here, whenever you're watching, and regardless of your placements, if the messages resonate, then hey, could be for you. And if you're here and some of the messages do not resonate, I would invite you to back pocket it because it may come into your conscious awareness at some point later. All right, so for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm Jonelle here at a Compassionate Heart School, trying not to throw down my entire lamp here, but welcome. If you guys would like to have a personal reading with me, or you'd like to have an energy healing session or any work done together, you know exactly where to find me. You can find all of my information in the description box below if you're on YouTube, and in the bio box above if you're on Instagram. So let's jump right in. So first of all, I wanted to let you guys know that before I even turned on the camera, I got a few messages. The first one, it says, once you choose to end something, it's done. And that came through with this card as I was just collecting some cards for the reading, and this card. So the idea here is, yeah, a lot of endings are occurring at this time, but Spirit is reminding you to have personal power, to have a flair about you, a flair that says, I have a penchant for newness, I'm ready, right? And see, it's almost like these two people on the Five of Pentacles card. This person on the right is moving away. She's got this new shawl. She's like, I have this new shawl. I can stay warm against the cold on my own. I'm ready to go. She moves out, and this person has been trying to hold her back, like, hey. And then eventually he's just like, and he turns back. And so she's out. Spirit is saying, in the same way as we see this cute little rat sever whatever this is, Lord knows, we don't even want to know. Is that like a spider web? What is that? Gross. As he does that, it's reminding, hey, once you're ready to leave, you're done. And as I'm questioning what that image is, I suddenly realized that this image is representing the snow here, showing that, listen, and the Five of Pentacles is all about not low consciousness. Well, yeah, poverty consciousness, low self-worth, things like that. So it's also making a bit of a nod at 2 minutes, 33 seconds with that 23 to this 23 here. It's showing that 23 is 5, so it's showing this 5 right here. It's just all tying in together to show that when you're ready to step out of your poverty consciousness, your victimhood mindset, your martyr mindset, low self-worth mindset, all of that stuff, when you're ready to step out of that, nobody can hold you back, because guess who was, keeping you there in the first place? Guess who got you there in the first place, and who kept you there in the first place? It's all you. It's all us. We are the ones who are doing what it is that we're doing. We're allowing these things to come in. And sometimes people question it. They may feel indignant, like, how could you say that I'm allowing this? Because let's put it this way. There are certain things that you will not allow, and you don't care. If someone just walked up to you, you may say you're a pacifist. You may say you don't like this, you don't like that. But if someone walked up to you and just slapped you across the face, oh, now we're talking something different. Or if you may tolerate some behaviors in people, but if they lie to you, you're done, right? So there are certain things that you will tolerate and that you will not tolerate. So the things that you are tolerating that are bringing you grief, you have to ask yourself, why is it that I'm allowing that to come in, right? And that conversation is for you and you alone to consider. And it does take you stepping into personal responsibility, accountability, because sometimes it's they're calling it an obstruction. Yeah, an obstruction to your goodness. Sometimes the obstruction to your goodness, and I would like to add the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is so blatant that you can even see it in the sense that you will allow some behaviors from some people, but you will not allow the same behavior from other people. You may get mad and jump off a cliff and all hell breaks loose if your friend says something to you or doesn't take your calls or something like that. But then you're dating somebody and you're allowing that person to walk right over you and to do what you were totally upset with your friend or family member about. You're letting them do it willy-nilly to you, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. So you have to start asking yourself, why am I introducing different standards for different people? different standards for different times, different standards for different moods. You have to, it's you. Okay? So anyway, let's continue moving forward here. Now, the second message that I got when I was, getting ready for this reading, God bless, is I was putting these cards face down because sometimes I like to discover the energies of the cards. Well, we can already feel the energies when we don't actually have to turn them over. God is good, right? But I like to just keep my conscious mind at bay a little bit. So I put them down, but notice the cards that chose to be upright. In fact, when I was putting this card down, it was so upset. It didn't even want to be associated with these cards. It was like, first of all, I don't want to even be next to them. So he or she or it, I'm just saying he, pushed itself over here, and then he was like, and I want to be turned right side up. So I turned it up, and there, lo and behold, don't let your past hold you back. But what the card was telling me, the energy, which is reflecting the energy you're carrying, if this message is for you, the energy was like, I don't even want to be seen and heard in the same vicinity as those other cards. Now, you may be wondering, well, geez, what do these cards say? But it doesn't matter what these cards say, because when they turn themselves over, we may be at a different time, and the purpose of the cards at that moment may change to reflect another message. But in the beginning, before I turned the camera on, the purpose of these cards was to represent past people, places, things, situations, and ideas that this current you is just like, I don't even want to be part of that. I want to make a clean break. And so, in fact, I had to laugh because the next card that came out, because it was like, I want to be alone and I don't want to be seen with these energies. That was the idea. And the minute it turned over, another card came out. I was like, oh, you do want to be with someone. And it says, a new start is coming. So this is representing the space that you're in at this time. This is the space that you're in right now. Wanting something new, wanting to experience something new, to establish something new, to move forward. So this is why Spirit is saying to mind who you're connecting with, mind the energies that you're choosing. It's all about choosing to connect with, because you got to put it in one of two piles. It's either it is obstructing your movement towards progress, or it is ushering in your newness here. So Spirit is, and look how these cards about moving forward on your own and really establishing something for yourself really coincide with these energies. And this card was just touching it. So this is like, right, letting go of something or someone that is just not in your space anymore. And I really feel that this is official. Some of you, this is official, meaning it's something that maybe comes with paperwork. Maybe you've decided to leave a position. Maybe you've decided to end a friendship. Maybe you've broken up in a connection. Whatever it is, it carries an official weight, like it's for real, it's done. Right? The karmic board's like, yeah, it's done, right? And the lights just flickered. I don't know if you saw it, because you probably didn't, but anyway, it just flickered when we were saying it's done about the karmic board. Because this morning in the channel, I'm doing this on the 14th, by the way. So if you check the channeled message for the 14th, they talk about people who just left some type of connection, really needing to call upon Spirit to help them to move past it, because there's a part of them that is still kind of stuck in wanting to keep that energy open, or it still just needs a little bit of assistance in moving forward into their abundance, right? And so speaking of abundance, this is one of the cards that were right side up. And this is beautiful, because all of this is coming on the wind. Oh, the wind. See what they're saying? Aqua energies. Remember I talked to you about aqua energies? Aquarian energies have been coming in. If you can sense incoming energy, then you may have already felt aqua energies like 2 weeks ago. They were starting to pop into the cards. And if you've been following the channeled messages and the stories on Instagram that come out through this channel, then you may have noted that the guides have been saying, hey, by the way, aqua energies are sneaking in right now. The wolf energy is sneaking in right now. Trickster energy is about as well. Remember, aqua has a shape-shifting aspect to it, by the way. Oh my gosh, just as I'm saying this, I'm actually standing up and wandering around a little bit here while I'm working. And I just realized I'm stepping on a card. So we're going to put this off to the side. I want to put it off to the side. It wants to come here. Okay, so listen. We don't know yet. We don't know. We don't know what that is. But it's funny how I'm stepping on it in the midst of a discussion on Aquarian energies and shape-shifting energies. Oh, wow. Okay. I just got a really great blast. This is a teacher. Guys, listen. Can I even get this message? Okay. So many messages. Oh my gosh. All right. The guides have been talking about a teacher coming in, a great teacher. They're saying wolf energy. The question is, how is this person showing up for you? I'm feeling a vibe here for some of you, because this wolf teacher has been coming in. Oh, first of all, oh my God, let me back it up. The guides have been saying, for a while, since Cap season started, Capricorn season, when all your friends are having all your Capricornian friends are having their birthdays, the guides have been saying, sow your seeds deeply, because when Aquarian energy comes in, the winds are going to be something terrible, right? Because it's coming in, it's Uranus energy, it's shock, it's rebellion, it's awe, it's awe. I don't know if it's awe, but more like, oh man, right? Whatever awe is coming out for you, but it's uprooting things. So if you don't, whatever, and this is exactly what they said, whatever you don't put into practice properly, whatever habits you don't start, whatever you planning you don't do, whatever you don't sow deeply, guess what's going out? With the rain, with the wind, they were saying, that's right. That's right. All of it. Okay. So why? Because how does that energy dynamic play? Oh, I got it. How does that energy dynamic play out in the physical? Because Jay, you're talking about wind and rain and Aquarian blowing away seeds that what? Well, yes, that's the energy dynamic, but in the physical, that's in the metaphysical, beyond the physical. But those don't sleep on those realms. Those realms create the conditions for your physical world. The physical world is a carbon copy of non-physical. When you can't remember that, you're going to continuously mess things up because you're acting from the physical onto a non-physical space in a way that is just programming your demise sometimes, right? Just saying, just keeping it real. But anyway, here's how that dynamic can play out, for example, in the physical. If you, for example, didn't learn some lessons, if you don't put into practice certain, like, let's say, saving your money or respecting your body, if you're sharing your body with all sorts of people, and during Capricorn season, if your spiritual lesson was to start taking more responsibility for your body and who you share your body with, guess what? During Aqua season, guess who rolls in? His name's Tom. He hot. He cute. He everything, right? But if you're not careful and you haven't cultivated the proper spiritual lesson there about your body, guess what? You're opening yourself up to lessons, right? What if you decided, I'm going to really start taking proper money saving methods, things like that. I really want to take care of myself, and I want to have finer things, and I'd like to honor my future by putting down some roots now, so I can take care of myself and have rainy day money. And if you don't really put that into practice during Capricorn season, when Capricorn season was like, hey, I'm here to help. Let's open that account. Let's budget. Let's make our spreadsheets. Let's whatevs, Guess what comes in February, March, Aquarius season? Abundance. What if you get a whole bunch of money coming in, and then you didn't practice, you didn't place importance on valuing money and valuing this and that and whatever it is that you needed it to be? You're going to lose that money. It's going to come in, you're going to lose it. You wouldn't know what to do with it, right? What if, for a last example, what if you during Capricorn season, your spiritual, like, one of the things you needed to work on was really planning for your educational future, considering something you'd like to get more training in, something you'd like to do better with. And, it was the time where your guides were like, hey, why don't you sign up for this, sign up for that class, do this, do whatever, right? And you're like, I'll do it later. If you didn't do it, guess what happens in February? You have all these opportunities to travel come up, or you have your friends and family like, hey, let's do this, let's do that, and these distractions pop up, and you know, whereas if you had cultivated the focus and the drive and the investment in yourself, you would take that into consideration when these travel opportunities come up, and you wouldn't just be like, okay, coming, thereby shutting down your potential for fulfillment in an area that could have brought you a lot of learning, a lot of abundance, and even later on down the line, some travel opportunities related to that, right? So you see, Capricorn season has been all about putting down roots so that you can move forward in the long term and the short term with better habits, better sense of self, and really later on reap some benefits. So that's why they're saying once Aquarian energies start to come in, the energies will shift, and Aqua energy ruled by Uranus comes in with uprooting, with blowing away, with electricity, with water. I know a lot of people may be like, but Jay, it's actually not a water sign, but I get that, but you have to remember that I'm reading the energies, and so I've always felt when I work with Uranus, what am I saying? With Aquarius. I just cracked myself up. With Aquarius energy, it's always presented itself to me as a shape-shifting energy, as electric. It could be water, and it can be air to me. It really just depends, and the force is going to differ, and it moves differently energetically than other people, okay? Other energies. So you have to understand, you have to understand how this goes. And so my question to you right now is, have you sown the seeds that were necessary for your movement forward? Not only that, but maybe for your survival during Aquarius season, okay? So that's all we out here saying. So that's why I think what this represents an energy that is coming in. And I know some of you are like, but Jay, I couldn't do anything. I just heard that from some of you guys. I couldn't do anything because the energies were like so shut down. I know Mars was doing too much and it's retrograde, you know. I know Mercury retrograde came in and everyone was working together to be like, hey, let's take several seats, all of us. And it was hard to kind of get things going and whatnot. But remember, and if you were tuning into the channel here, the guides were saying it's during times like these, especially when you have Mars retrograde, it can be frustrating. You can't get stuff going. And then Mercury's coming in and messing with the flow of things. And I get it. But then it's not a time to see it like, oh, I have no energy, I have no drive, I have no whatever, or I have all of it and it has nowhere to go. Instead, you start taking a more sophisticated view of the energy and understanding, oh, this is actually more about me being asked to relax, to reflect, to think, and to take this energy and to redirect it into something else. What happens when a top is put on top of something, of an opening, and the water can't go out? It's like there, it's building. Well, guess what? Why don't you spread the water around, or whatever it is, oopsie, I keep hitting my lamp. Spread everything around so that it's evened out. You know, while it's in here, wash things in the basin, clean things, add some soap. And then when the pop is off, Mars retrograde, Mars goes direct, and the water can start flowing again, the energy can start flowing again. Now you've got all this stuff that you were being productive with in the meantime. Yeah? And then guess what? When Aquarius energy comes in, dumping more energy, and let me just use it to wash out all of the particulates that I didn't need. A great analogy the guys were using, and I don't know if I communicated it to you guys at the time, was somebody chiseling away at a lump of clay, creating an image. At some point, they're going to have to do this to blow all the little curls off, right? That they've chiseled. Well, you know, all that stuff. That Aquarian energy is that's going to blow away all of the stuff. So if you've done your due diligence, then you can use the energy coming in to blow away what you wanted to blow away, and the stuff that you wanted to keep and to have nailed down and to be about your future and to be about your values and your virtues and things like that. They're solid. Okay? So anyway, a lot of this change, this abundance and stuff, and a lot of this work that you've been doing has to do with your worthiness, your sense of worthiness. It has nothing to do with your actual worth, because truth be told, you are worthy. You're worthy simply by being. You were deemed worthy the minute you were brought into creation. So there's never actually a question of worth. The same way that there's never actually a question of abundance, as same way as there's never actually a question of health. There's never actually a question of love. There's never actually a question of what was the other thing I was going to say? Prosperity, things like that, right? That's not what it was, but I can't remember. There's so many that there's never actually a question of. Oh, I got it. There's never actually a question of manifestation. You're doing all of these things. All of these things are organically always occurring. The only question is, are you allowing these things to continue to flow unimpeded, or are you projecting blockages into the flow of all of these things I just said? Love, abundance, manifestation, prosperity, all of that. It's you. It's you. It's me too, right? But you for you and me for me. We're just doing it to ourselves at some level. And so when you remember, that's why we talk about remembering. When you remember that you are good enough, you pretty much turn on the flow in certain areas that you had blocked off. You see? And so right now you've been being asked to have extraordinary faith in self, extraordinary memory of your value, and moving forward. And the way that you distinguish, but the way that you, what's the word? Let me get some water. The way that you put these energies into effect in the world and show the universe that you really believe it is by cutting out people, places, things, situations, and ideas that are not in alignment with this remembering that you're good enough. Let me just take a water break. And on that note, I do want to remind you, if you haven't checked out the January 2023 monthly reading, go ahead and check it out. And if you did check it out, we are coming up to mid-month, so it would be nice to go back and check it out, see if anything is jumping out at you, if anything has already started to occur for you, and if there's any advice that now makes sense to apply. Also, please keep an ear out, because I'll be bringing out the astro reels over the next few days. And this will be for the next 2 weeks, right? So keep an eyeball out. All right. Don't let pride get in your way. So this card is talking about right now, as you're stepping up into where you should be, which is knowing who you are, loving yourself, believing yourself to be worthy, associating, not dissociating, but disassociating. Those are two different words, by the way, two different words. Disassociating yourself from energies that are just not capitalizing for you. It's been a hard season, guys. Lots of closed doors, right? But remember, sometimes doors close for a good reason. Sometimes rejection is protection, okay? And but this card is reminding us that as we move forward and as we take this journey on and we take these steps to, and the guys have been talking a lot about your virtues, right? I was just laughing with someone yesterday because we were like, there are a lot of virtues, and it's like, oh my God, I know. Well, where do we start? Remember that you're working on pretty much all of them throughout your whole life, right? They're the flavors, they're the aspirations that we work towards, the flavors of interactions. But usually you will see, and astrology is a really great way, if you can find a really great astrologer to help you out with your natal chart, it's a really great way to really identify what are some major virtues, major focuses in your chart. And I was explaining for my chart in this lifetime, and I don't need my chart to know this because I already know this. Compassion is a major angle. And in fact, the guides told me, you're going to teach, heal, and motivate in this lifetime. I was like, okay. That time I was just a budding English teacher. I was like, sure. Am I teaching English forever? I don't know. But they were like, you're going to teach, heal, and motivate, and everything you do is going to come from a place of compassion. I was like, okay. Sure. And so that was over a decade ago, by the way, over a decade ago. So I wasn't even in this field yet. So here it is. And when I opened this channel and started everything, the guides gave me this name, A Compassionate Heart School. So now today in the work that I do, all I do is teach. Well, teach, God's information comes through me. I heal, God's healing flows through me, and I motivate. I definitely like to motivate. I will motivate the out of you, right? But for me, I don't know. So please send your motivation my way. So anyway, look and consider what in your chart is calling to you as something, or in your life is calling to you as something that you've been working on in this lifetime. For some of you it's creativity, for some of you it's justice, for some of you it's discipline, right? But look for the major standout ones. I have some major ones. Compassion and kindness are only two of them, right? So if you haven't had a chance to find that or see that website yet, go ahead. It's in my channeled message. I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was in my stories. There's a link there. So to somebody else's work on the virtues, that seems to be their mission work, to bring that back. And anyway, so Spirit has been saying, go back to your virtues, because right now we are actively creating this new life for us. Structurally, etherically, we're structuring the non-physical fields, and as we know, the physical field is just a carbon copy of what's going on in non-physical. So if you're actively structuring your path now, that will manifest as your future. Guess what? If you intertwine it with an adherence to virtues, a focus and a practice on showing up in a balanced way in these energies, guess what you're just doing? You're just creating the conditions for your own blessings down the road. I'm just saying. So Spirit is saying, when they say don't let pride in your way, now speaking of bringing love into the situation, right? Don't let pride in your way. It's just reminding you, pride is just one of those things that you want to put into balance, right? Bring these things into balance as you move forward. Bring love into the situation. The virtues, when they are practiced properly, and when we really, and these things take lifetimes. So one person can be focusing, because in my line of work, when I do past lifetime work, sometimes people, I could see that maybe somebody has been dedicating quite a few lifetimes to exploring the theme of justice, for example, from different angles. And in their different lifetimes, one time they're a criminal, the next time they're in law enforcement, the next time they're a mother whose child is going through this. They get to explore that theme through, being a member of the family. They could also be, did I mention a judge in another lifetime? So you see, they're exploring it. We're exploring these things. So when we come through and we're like, oh, I'm focusing on compassion. Yeah, that must mean that in some lifetimes, the struggle was real, right? Who knows? So please don't focus on perfection. We're focusing on progress. But these simple concepts, such as these virtues, are not so simple because we are chipping away at the misperceptions that we hold about them. And that's why we sometimes totally understandably get caught up, like so is it loving to do this for myself, or is it loving to do it for someone else instead? What? We just have to feel our way through these things sometimes, all right? But what are we doing if we're not even considering? So when we say bring love into the situation, that's asking us to consider the needs of others as well as the needs of ourselves in whatever it is that we do. Then we just talk about focusing on that. Yeah, so if we're not even focusing on those things as a reality, then we're just flailing around in the dark. It's better to use your intuition to help with such things. I want to go back to this energy here, this wolfy teacher. We talked about this wolf teacher coming through during the age of Aquarius, during this season of Aquarius, as a force that is going to really help you to assess how much you have learned. It's your time to put your mouth put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, you want to save money? Let's give you a lot of money and see what you do with it. Oh yeah, you say you want to be generous with others? Let's give you a lot of money and see what you do with it. Oh, you say that you're going to stay committed? Let's give you a lot of time off and see if you stay committed, right? You say you're going to respect your body? Let's give you a man or woman and see what you do with them. Oh, you say that you are dedicated to walking a hermit's path for right now so that you can cultivate a certain spiritual part of yourself. Well, okay, let's send you a whole bunch of friends that want to hang out all of a sudden. So this is about testing your commitment and your resolve to something. So that's why it's very important that whatever energies are coming in, that you are taking a measured approach to them. You're looking at them. You're looking at what they represent. Don't just stop at the form. Don't stop at the form. Like, oh, well, this person seems nice. Look at that, they're cute, they're whatever. I trust them. No, look at what they represent. Be sophisticated about them and about it. This isn't your call to just be like, oh, I'm so sorry, you don't fit into my path, so bye-bye. No, that's just ridiculous. That's now we're getting into the pride part, the low energies. This is just about looking at, well, what's going on? What would my engagement with this energy? And I'm saying it in terms of a person, but it could very well be a thing like an opportunity or a job or something that comes in to test your commitment to something that you said that you were about, right? And so the question is, once you look at it through the eyes of love, you call upon spirit, you ask for a balanced approach to it, you take pen to paper in a very Capricornian way and say, if I were to engage with this energy, person, place, thing, situation, idea, how does it affect me? How does it affect my mentality, my focus, my drive, my finances, my time, all of this stuff? And then you consider, you can get advice from somebody that you trust, okay? Not just someone who's just going to talk in your ear from their own level of experience without acknowledging that their level of experience is just that. Because sometimes people will be like, hey, this is the truth. Trust me, I've been there. No, that was the truth for you. And then maybe you weren't even seeing it correctly. You're still working through that theme and you haven't realized it, right? So you have to be very careful about who you go to for advice, for learning, for things like that. So long story short, this is a time for real introspection. When you sit and you reflect and you go through a process of introspection, that's a way of vetting whatever it is that you come into contact with. This is invaluable information moving forward on your new path, because now we're not just doing things willy-nilly anymore. We're trying to take into certain things into consideration. And what are we taking into consideration? Well, whatever it is for you. For some of you, you needed to learn you need to take into consideration the needs of your family as you move forward. And others of you, for example, these are just two examples, may have needed to learn that you need to take into consideration your needs moving forward. It really depends on where you start and what's going on with you. But this is the wake-up call. And I do also want to note that for some of you, this could come in the form of a person, and this person feels really nice. They may be scientific based. Obviously, this is not all of the people that you may meet, whoever. This is somebody's example, just to give you an example. But this is for real, somebody's example. But this person may come in quietly. Oh yeah, this person may come in quietly and leave with the storm. Leave with the storm. I heard leave with the storm and lead with the storm. So there's an energy, these different opportunities for quite a few of you. Oh God, guys. The guides are saying also different opportunities. Oh my God, for the same person. So this is showing me that it's really, really, really important. This is another reason why we all hope that you've been putting practice into doing things, because whatever you've been sowing is already showing, whatever you've been sowing is already showing up in this person. So let's say, for example, whatever this thing is that's coming in for you, this teacher that's coming in for you that's going to help you to assess, the quality of that person or the quality of that opportunity itself is derived from what you've been doing. And the guides have been talking about this for a long time, being that what you do now influences the quality of what you get later. If you say you want a boyfriend or girlfriend, guess what? You're going to get one, unless you're so blocked you can't even manifest one. But if you're just open enough to manifest one, guess what? The quality, are you going to get an amazing one? Are you going to get a mid one? Or are you going to get like, oh my God, oh, what is happening? What is happening? What level of quality you're getting? It depends on you. You say you want to find a new home, okay. Best approach, hey guys, oh my gosh, 20 minutes later I realize, hey, your camera stopped rolling. So I try not to get upset about that anymore, because I feel your energies around me while I'm doing the work, so I know that you're getting it on some level. So anyway, I don't remember where I left off. Something about, I think I was talking about determining the quality of what it is that you receive, not only in this teacher that comes in, but also in general in life, is dependent upon your beliefs, the beliefs that you carry, core beliefs that you carry at the time. Okay, so wow, there was so much information that came through, but you know what, I trust that you got it. I wanted to do these cards with you guys. Oh my gosh, I love these cards. They're called the Celtic Tarot. Fun. Let's just see. Let me just see if there's anything. Oh, to summarize what I was saying for a minute there, 1 minute 11 seconds. What I was saying, for that I can remember that I was saying after the camera cut off. I was saying, hold on. Gosh, I just had it. Oof, when I'm in the zone. And then I can't really remember. I often have to come back and watch the videos for myself afterwards as well, because I don't remember what came through. Gosh, what were they saying? Guys? Anyway, let's move on. You got it. Your spirits got it. Okay, let's pull you these cards. Boink. Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that. During this moon in Scorpio. Gosh, yeah. Look at all this mirroring. We have a King of Wands. We have the Father. Look at that. And then we have this conversation or this communication. And then we've got the Lovers and we've got the Shadow. Look at the mirroring there. And just as I said, Scorpio, right? Look at Scorpio. Libra and Scorpio sometimes feel a little bit like two sides of the coin in some way, right? In some way. Because this is not exactly it, by the way, because, you know, two sides of that coin in another way would be Libra and Aries. But what I'd like to comment on right now is it's very often that I see this dichotomy. It's like the angel that is Libra, and then like the shadow that is Scorpio. Not if you thought I was going to say the demon, you're wrong though. The shadow that is Scorpio. And in fact, look at this. We've got the Lovers card and then the shadow. And if you go back a few seconds or whatever, you'll notice that when I dropped this card, I was just saying Scorpio, right? So I'm not making up this dichotomy, basically. Check this out. But let's take a look at. Thank you. Okay, thank you. This is okay, thank you. This is continuing on the dynamic that they've been speaking about recently in the daily channeled messages about a connection that was recently broken apart. Okay, now this connection again could be between two people, which it feels like it is, but depending on the details of your life, it could be between you and an institution, right? Where one of these energies represents the light, a lighter aspect, and the other one represents a shadow. So what I'm seeing here is a cleaning up of sorts, and I'm hearing a cleaning up of swords. Yeah, swords, because there was an overuse of power here. a misuse of power, an imbalance in the use of power. And that is why we have this very hostile and volatile father energy coming through it, like Emperor. And then we've got the King of Wands literally on fire, right? And then we've got this sword, ding ding, coming through. And there's this energy that says, the main lesson here is that, and it's a lesson for everybody. Everybody at one point or another has engaged in this lesson and will engage again. What you put out there is something you're going to have to live with. Sometimes what we put out there can, and now my heart's getting heavy, like grief, right? Like sadness. Like this guy, he's walking away dejected. Sometimes what we put out there can be mitigated and alleviated, like you were too heavy-handed with somebody, so you come back and you say, hey, I'm so sorry, I did this. For somebody here, I feel there was alcohol involved, so there was drinking involved, and so things got out of hand, right? I'm so sorry. And then it becomes by the grace of the other person to kind of take you back in, and everybody seeing how we want to move forward with this connection, right? But every now and then, sometimes it just gets to a place where the show of force, because I'm feeling this was like a tour de force, show of force, okay? Like tour de force, show of force, like all out. Like sometimes when that happens, there's no coming back, is what I'm getting. And so this is that kind of energy. And so that's why they were saying, what did they say? I just told you, and they said it's something, but it sounded like something of swords, right? Because the swords represent communication. And literally, look, this person is 4 of swords, rest. So literally as if in a bed. So they're saying that when we put things out there, we have to lie in the very bed that we make. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, kind of an energy, right? Here we have the Tower card. I almost said the Tour card, because it's interesting, because I feel like this was, look at this mirroring here. It's like the 4 of Wands, happy, so things are kind of going okay, we're good, and all of a sudden, boom, communication, boom, and that's it. And there's no way, that's it, speaking, here's the Hangman, literally, right? There's just, and then the Hermit right after, and a new start. So some things were put in motion by somebody here that really closed off a whole thing here. And I'm seeing a fortune cookie here with the energy of somebody really closed off their abundance, their own thing, for their own pathway forward, because of some type of energy. Now let's explore that. Oh, wow, no wonder they cut me off, because they want to use the last set of time to talk about this. Okay. Yeah, that's why they cut me off. That's why. I'm just, look, I need this, guys. Let me explain this away, right? But I heard entity. So let's talk about that. This is what we're talking about. See how the shadow here, now there's this third thing. So for some of you, or whoever this is, I don't know which side of the pocket you fall on, guys, you the viewer. I know some of you fall on the side where you were on the receiving end of this, and I know through client work that some of you fall on the side where you were the one who gave the energy, right? And if you're like, can I just be here to watch, because I'm not, like, I'm good and this doesn't seem to be me, of course you can watch. Go grab that popcorn. Like, what are we even doing, right? We're learning. That's what we're learning. So Spirit is saying, for some of you, this is a third party that came in. Let's talk about the third party. And they're saving it for this discussion, because here we are in Scorporinos. We're bringing light to shadow, okay? The third party that came in that led this person, whether it's you or not, whoever, to act out of their shadows, I'm seeing was some type of temptation. The temptation could have shown up in terms of a person, of course, but I'm seeing also it may have shown up in terms of tempting your idea of yourself. So I don't want to say a narcissism thing, because listen, we out here, and I don't remember any of us having a licensed therapist thing to be like, well, according to DSM, narcissism is something, and you fall into it. No, this narcissist term is something used willy-nilly by a lot of people today, but you know me, I'm out here channeling, so this is what I do, this is what we do. And this energy played upon a very exaggerated sense of self. If we're not careful, these energies that come in, look at the pride and the Leo energy just beaming at me right now. If we're not careful, this energy can come in and kind of be like, hey, this, that, and the other. If the energy is saying this, that, and the other, you make of it what you want. If somebody comes in and says, oh, your friend, for example, just using this, your friend has this addiction, they also struggle with being honest with themselves, they have a lot of stuff they need to clean up in their life. Let's say those 3 things came to you as information from some other source. Could be a source like a friend or family member or reader or just whatever, right? That's why, guys, be careful when you go to readers. If they're just presenting these things to you in a way that is making the other person just seem like a lost cause and this and that, you always go to people who can balance these energies out for you, because the whole point of going for readings is not to be told that you're the best or you're the worst. It's to be told, hey, these are the energies, and let's look at it from different standpoints, so you can get into the heart space and use the mind effectively and make choices in alignment with that, right? But if you're not careful, when you get information, you're going to see it the way you want to see it. Look at this illumination, and look at this father energy, this emperor energy, this energy. Look at the volcano. If you're coming with volcanic thinking, a little spark given to you, a little fire and illumination given to you, and you have a mind filled with your own illumination about what you think, you're going to see it. 11 minutes, 11 seconds on this new chapter we're talking about right now. You're going to see it as like, oh, I knew I was right. I knew I was right because I had this idea and Spirit said this thing, and now I am right. And see, that's how you become this King of Wands. See how he has all the little sparkles there? Because his little volcanic thoughts, his thoughts of himself, his thoughts of reality, his thoughts, whatever. Spirit's like, oh, hey, let me show you the way about things. You're like, oh, okay, I'm taking that to mean this. And now you walk into the world like this and you blow apart something that's shadow. So you have to see, and so let's isolate that a little bit. Let's say Spirit comes to say, hey, a candle. You're like, okay, if you have a high sense of whatever and you come with volcanic energies, you're going to blow up. If Spirit's like, hey, a candle, and then you come and you've got, you've got a little bit of a spark, you're trying to spark, maybe representing low self-worth. Maybe you're going to struggle to even be able to take on what Spirit is saying. They're like, hey, you're like, and you're trying to, but if they're like, you're like, then you're going to become, right? So long story short, I don't know who that helped, that analogy, but long story short, don't use information that comes to you to confirm your own biases. Confirmation bias, right? That's what it is. You think you're the best. Somebody comes and says something good about you, you're going to be like, I knew I was the best. And if you turn around and you treat other people like you are the best and they're nothing, guess what happens? You find value and justification in your actions. Okay? And if you think the worst of yourself, and Spirit comes and tells you a little bit of something, you may not even be able to, you may cheat yourself out of an experience because you're going to not believe the goodness that Spirit is saying or trying to give to you, and you'll miss out. So either way, you're missing out. In this energy, this story, this narrative that has played out, we're seeing one end of the spectrum where there was an overextension of force, Spirit is saying. And let's put it this way, if the intention was to blow up your life so that you can completely move on from everybody and everything, you see how this light is in the past? this situations in the past, if you were like, I want a full clean slate and I don't want to see anyone from anyone in my past and I want to be frozen over and be on my own somewhere, then great, then this is what you've done. But I really feel that Spirit is saying, I think this was a moment where this was a missed mark. This was a misstep. It was not ordained. It was coming from the pride space. And I'm trying to feel if, and that's why karmically speaking, justice has been served. And I feel like it was, maybe if you were in this shadow space, it was not in your favor. And I do feel that now there may be like needing to start all over again, but because you can't, it's almost like being out in somewhere so new, See how the landscape has changed, but behind you, you still got this. Yeah, even look, the same, the fire still it's in the distance, meaning separating from where you were, but it's like the 5 of Wands, it's conflict. Ace of Wands, it's coming through as a lesson, okay? So 15 minutes, 15 seconds. So let's say that here you are super sweet, you are super loved, God loves you, I love you, you better love you, right? Because we've all been down this path, if not in this lifetime, other lifetimes. So please, again, when we're listening to these things, we're learning, but we've all been here. We've all been here. That's why we can sit and listen to it, because it's coming back to us, because we've been here. Spirit is bringing in for you, boink, awareness, knowledge. Look at the star energy coming in with some water here. Aquarius energy. Aquarius, aqua, star. Oh, right? But it's coming through as water. It's coming through as water for a parched place that you found yourself. It's nighttime, so we know that you can't see right now because you're way out somewhere. You don't have to see, just feel. So now you're getting a lesson. We see here, 3 of Wands. You're still as this King of Wands. Remember, King of Wands who was inflamed. You're waiting now as the lesson comes in. The lesson that you're going to be learning is how to get into your heart space. Whoopsies. How to bring yourself into melody is what I'm getting. Melody. It's bringing yourself into the heart space, compassion, things like that. Concern for others, learning about the needs of others, right? Because this was a heavy lesson. Look, this lesson started in October, by the way. For some of you, October played out in November, and you were feeling it all of December. And then here we are commenting on it because revelations have come out. So now we can look and see what was right, what was not right. And October was Libra time, right? October was Libra time, sliding into shadowy Scorpio time. Okay, so just so here we have this returning in this moon energy here and stuff of the Libra and shadow. Anyway, so we do have 3 of Cauldrons. This is coming through as this, that, and the other, meaning you've been able to see on both sides now. Spirit is coming through to offer assistance. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a wheel turn here. I do feel that there's a school element, so you may be returned back to school on this lesson in some way. It could also be telling you that they're going to be sending you information, and I do want you to know that if you find yourself in this pocket right here, Spirit is sending us all the same information. So you may find that you're joining the same class. We're all in the same class. Nobody knows why you're in this class with us. They don't know that, I had to come back and revisit this lesson. No one knows, and if they are caring, that's all about their ego. They shouldn't care. What is the lesson that we're all coming back around to learn? Return to love. How do you return to a space of love? You start considering the pillars of love: kindness, compassion, right? Integrity, patience, tolerance, those little thingies, no, not those. Yeah, those things, we're all in it. Didn't I tell you guys, and I say I, meaning as the channel, channeling through information, didn't we tell you guys back in, gosh, when was it? It was in November, around November 21st, 22nd, all that time. That's when things were really popping off. The guides said that some people are going to take a tunnel and others are going to take a bridge. It really doesn't matter what happens on either of those places, because it's just, we're all different people. We take different things. Tunnel, I don't know, could have been about hibernating. Bridge could have been being pushed out into the world to experience some things, to get the lessons. But what was significant is that, you know, they would both end up back on the embankment at the same time. Here we are. This is the same time. And now we're all reconvening now to learn our lesson. What's the lesson? A return to love via the traditional virtues. Okay, and so here you are, it's Two of Wands. Two of Wands, lesson learned. See now how the head no longer has the flames of the king of, you know. So there's been a temperance of sense of self, is what Spirit is saying. And it comes after a period of looking at the overuse of force with somebody because of a sense of overblown sense of self. And that's, you know, something we're just working through, right? And also, I'm seeing here that another lesson, hold on, let me see this here. I feel, and this is nice, it's kind of giving me, it's Four of Cups. It's the idea of no thank you, but it's also refusing something that's being given from Spirit. But what I'm seeing here is it's about embracing the lesson, which looks good. So if this was you, you're at a place right now where you're like, listen, I got it. I got you, Spirit, but I'm so committed to you, Spirit, that I'm here to take my lumps. And I want to take a look at 1, 2, 3, Three of Cups, 1, 2, 3, these cups that you've given me, because I want to understand what I did wrong. And this is, we know you're waiting here with the Saturn. You're looking, you're trying. This is good faith effort in wanting to look. And here Spirit is like, okay, here's some ice cream. You have some ice cream, and you're like, no, okay, thank you, I will in a second. But I want to really sit and look at these 3 pieces of broccoli, because you gave me this broccoli to look at. Look at the broccoli, 1, 2, 3. And I want to really honor this, and I want to be here. And Spirit is saying that's the kind of attitude we want. We want to know that you're serious about this. But at the same time, you could still have some ice cream. But remember, with these energies, going back to the general reading about Wolf and Aquarius energies right now, stay the path. So whoever you are, if you went through this situation here and you found yourself in the place where you've been kind of asked to revisit this lesson of caring and compassion towards others, I see that you're really serious about walking your path. And there's a little bit of trepidation about speaking your truth, and that's okay. You will be right back out there again to speak some more, because this is just the way Spirit works. Especially if that's your lesson, to learn to speak your truth. All you're doing right now is learning to bring more balance to when you speak your truth. And we see this fickle energy cards coming through saying that this is just a temporary phase, just like everybody's going through their own temporary phases. The Spirit is asking for you to consider, they know you're not ready yet to look at the things that you have been doing right, but Spirit is saying there are things that you have been doing right and that you are doing right. And one thing that you have to take away from whatever it is that you're going through right now is that one of the best things that you're doing is allowing yourself to sit by the feet of a teacher who can show that they're balanced in this thing that you're trying to learn. So this is about learning to gravitate towards people and energies who are modeling this example for you. So for example, if this is about a job, maybe you jumped on the chance to take a job that really, like, let's say you jumped on an ability to be a repo man or to foreclose on people's houses, but like it pays your bills, but how many hearts are you breaking to make this money, right? No offense to anyone doing that job right now. I mean, I understand, the way things are going, but this is the example coming up. And maybe you learned, if I'm going to use my hands for work, I'm going to use it in jobs that honor people and that assist people. So maybe you may bring your skill set to another type of job. So maybe part of this is that you're learning from looking at companies that are more responsible with the environment, with people. Maybe they give back to the community. Maybe the people who run these companies put their money where their mouth is, all sorts of stuff. So maybe you're looking to see people and work with people who can show that they practice what they preach. Do you see what I mean? So for example, so this is a lesson well learned, is what I'm seeing. And God is good. Yeah. Okay, and at the same time, before I end this video, I do want to say that, guys, listen, again, we're all in this collective together. And I don't know how large the collective is, but I'll tell you the collective is very large from what I can see, because we're all working together. And maybe this time around, I'm just being a mouthpiece here for some of these energies, but I have to tell you that people I work with and stuff, and you guys who, people I may never even meet, I'm getting inspiration from you guys all the time. I may not talk about it, right? This is just showing you that we're all working together. And so if you ever find yourself on the top of your game, remember that there are times when you needed a leg up. You did things that weren't so good, and you whatever. And then if you find yourself on a leg down, I don't know, that's not a saying. On a leg down, then you know that that's just where you are at that moment, and you have to show yourself the love and compassion and grace and mercy to yourself, knowing very well, listen, everybody else has been here before. So if other people can't show you that mercy and that grace and all of that, then don't use that as an example to be down on yourself, right? Because we're all in this collective together, and we're all learning the same lessons. We're just showing each other how things work. Okay, anyway, so I am going to let you guys go. I just split the deck over here. What did I get? A 3 of Cups. Yeah, working together. Okay, working together, and God is good. All right, so I'm going to end this, and if you guys have any questions, you know exactly where to find me. And yeah, what else? Nothing. Okay. All right, bye you guys. God bless you.